What was the hardest part of adopting your child? The social worker warned us about Mia's trauma history before we met her. She hasn't spoken in 3 years, she explained, not since the fire that killed her parents. What the file didn't mention was how tiny she looked sitting alone in that sterile visitation room, her scarred hands clutching a tattered photo album. When I knelt beside her, she flinched. My husband stayed by the door, afraid to frighten her more. The social worker whispered, "She's been through 7 foster homes. Nobody could handle the nightmares, the screaming, the running away." I nodded, but couldn't take my eyes off this 8-year-old with eyes that looked ancient. We visited every Tuesday and Thursday for 2 months. Mia never spoke, but she started sitting closer each time. One day, she slid her photo album toward me, the only thing she'd saved from the fire. Inside were charred photos of a smiling family, a dog, birthday parties. On the last page was a crayon drawing of a house with flames and 3 stick figures. 2 had angel wings. The day we brought her home, she walked through every room methodically, checking windows, doors, smoke detectors. That night, we found her sleeping under her bed instead of on it. My husband whispered, "What have we gotten ourselves into?" I didn't have an answer. The first 6 months were a blur of therapist appointments and school meetings. Mia would wake screaming, convinced the house was burning. We installed extra smoke detectors, bought fire extinguishers for every room. I slept on her floor most nights, just so she could close her eyes. At school, they wanted to put her in special education because she wouldn't speak. I fought with administrators weekly. "She understands everything. She's brilliant. She's just not ready to talk." They'd look at me with pity, like I was delusional. One night, during a thunderstorm, the power went out. I found Mia huddled in her closet, hyperventilating. When I lit a candle to find the flashlights, she became hysterical. I blew it out immediately, but the damage was done. She didn't sleep for 3 days after that. My marriage started showing cracks. "We can't live like this forever," my husband said one night. The constant vigilance, the silence, the therapist saying they don't know if she'll ever speak again. I knew he was right, but I couldn't give up on her. Something in her eyes told me she was still in there, fighting to get out. On the 1-year anniversary of her adoption, we had a small celebration. No candles. As I served cake, I accidentally dropped a plate. The crash sent Mia diving under the table. When I knelt to check on her, I was crying. "I'm sorry, Mia. I'm so sorry." She reached out and touched my tear. Then so quietly I almost missed it, she whispered, "Not your fault." Her first words in 4 years. My husband and I froze, afraid to breathe. She looked between us and added, "Fire, not your fault either." That night, she slept in her bed for the first time. The next morning, she asked for pancakes. A full sentence. Words started coming back slowly, like water through a cracked dam. In therapy, she finally described watching her parents try to save her, pushing her out a window while they were trapped inside. Last week at her school's talent show, Mia read a poem she'd written. Her voice was still soft, but she didn't stop once. The audience gave her a standing ovation. As we drove home, she asked, "Are you proud of me?" I could barely see the road through my tears. I still wake up sometimes to check if she's breathing. We still have more smoke detectors than any house needs. She still won't go near campfires or birthday candles. Yesterday, on her 10th birthday, she asked if we could visit her parents' graves. We stood there in silence until she placed 2 handmade cards on the headstones. I asked what she wrote inside. She looked up at me with those ancient eyes and said, "I told them about you, how you waited for me when I couldn't speak." It made me tear up.